reason why I'm here today is I've been actually asked to share something that I've been sharing with our senior pastor, Pastor Jeff. How many know that God is a good God? Okay, let's try that again. How many know that God is a good God? How many know that God is a God of second chances? How many people know that God always said...
Amen. Amen means the great I am.
So this morning, as I'm about to share, the Lord's reminded me of just something that's in Genesis chapter 41. I've got to get this right because I said the wrong name a little bit earlier today. It's Joseph. Joseph was sold into slavery and he got sent to Egypt, and he got accused of something that he never actually did. He got put to jail, and then two people that he was in jail with had some dreams. He interpreted the dreams. He told one of them to remember him when he went back to his job. He forgot. Until the Pharaoh had two dreams himself. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because in the last 2 weeks I've had two visions that are very similar. And I want to encourage you with them. They're not scary, but they are a call to action. They're a call to action to look at your life, to look at what you're doing, to look at your walk with God, to see what areas of your life you may need to look at and change and ask that the Lord to help you to fix. So without a doubt, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the first vision, and then I'm going to explain a little bit before the second vision about what the vision refers to, and then I'm going to give you the second vision. So I'm sorry if this takes a little while. So I was praying on Monday, the 21st of Jan, and as I was praying I heard the jingle and the clink of a bridle against the rein. And as the vision zoomed out, I saw 5 horses all lined up like on a starting one. And they were very specific colours. One was red, one was white, one was black, one was pale, and the 5th was the whitest white you've ever seen. And the trumpet sounded, and all 5 horses took off. And they were racing across, I'll explain it as the cosmos, it was the sky, through the universe, and 4 of the horses pulled out in front. The white, the red, the black, the pale, and the whitest white horse started to lag behind. And each of the riders of the horses were wearing the same colour as the horses that they were riding, except for the rider on the whitest white. The rider on the whitest white was wearing the whitest robe, dipped in blood. And he has... I'll get to that bit in a minute. The 4 horses that pulled out in front hit the earth before the rider that was the whitest white. And the vision shifted from the earth to the rider on the whitest white horse, and on him was written the names of God. He is the King of Kings, He is the Lord of Lords, and every knee bows and tongue confesses that He is Lord. And he sits on, at the moment, he sits on his horse, and he is away from the earth at the moment. But in the vision, he turned to me and said, "Prepare my people, for I return soon." That was the end of the first vision. The second vision, I'm going to go over this very, very, very briefly, just so you have a little bit of an understanding of what the second vision means. During a Jewish wedding ceremony, they have, I've got to get this right, I hope this is right, the ketubah. So the two fathers come together, they agree that they're the right person for each other, the bride price is paid, both parties sign, and then the bridegroom runs away for a year, roughly. And what he's doing while he's away is he's preparing a room in his father's house. He doesn't go out and buy a new house. He prepares a room in his father's house. And when it's ready, the father tells him, go and get your bride. Bring her home, and then they have the whole ceremony. So that's what I want to explain as I share this second vision. On Wednesday the 30th, which was about a week later, I watched the image of a young man who was finishing an extension on his father's home. And as he finished up, he washed his hands, he prepared his best of clothes, and then he got dressed. He gathered together his wedding party, men with shofars, men with harps and timbrels, and virgins with their lamps, their wicks trimmed and filled with oil, and of course his bride. And the Lord said this: the bridegroom is ready to take his bride home, back to the place he has prepared for in his Father's house, where she belongs. But before this, there will be a wedding feast and a war. The bridegroom, his wedding party, and the bride will feast together. They will celebrate the union, and then they will face the oncoming war. When the war is done, the bridegroom will take his bride to his bosom, so he'll pull her in close and take her home to the place that he has prepared in his Father's house. And then the image shifted to something the Lord gave me many years ago about heaven. And I saw both the bride and the bridegroom enter into heaven, and it was a joyous occasion, it was a celebration. What my visions mean is that the Lord He's almost here. And when I say He's almost here, He could be a second away, He could be a minute away, He could be an hour away, He could be a week away, He could be 2,000 years away. But what's important for us is to examine ourselves and examine our heart. I wasn't going to share this one, but the other day, as I was talking about this with Pastor Jeb, I had a vision of a hand grabbing the building of a church. And the hand turned the church upside down. And then it started to shake. And all of the people were coming out of the church into a colander. Like what you do when you pour your pastor in and allows the water. And it showed that there are people that are in the church that are not going to make it. He's sifting. He's about to begin sifting those out of the church, those out of his bride that are not desirable traits. So I want to encourage you, brothers and sisters, that let's examine our hearts. Let's examine the way we live our lives and what we're doing and how we do it, so that we are the spotless bride that we need to be for when Jesus returns. So be encouraged, and I'll pass you back to Dan. This is Olive Dino.